Ronaldo's slumping hard, North London is red, and Manchester is, purple. This weekend, at least. What's up? My name is Adrian, and welcome to Rabona TV's Weekender, where we take a look at the top 5 leagues around Europe, that's England, France, Italy, Germany, and Spain, and tell you all the juicy gossip, the tasty stats, and sometimes some whack facts from this weekend's action. If you like this kind of thing, consider subscribing. But other than that, let's go. Starting in the Bundesliga, where somebody please just make it stop. Make the Dortmund pain stop already. They lost against Stuttgart this Friday, which means they haven't won a single Bundesliga match since September 30th. They've conceded 14 goals in their last 5 matches, and that pain could continue, as up next, they have Schalke. And Schalke, my friends, are on the up. They're in second place for the first time since the 2012-2013 season. They're undefeated in their last 7 matches across all competitions, and have only conceded twice in their last 6 Bundesliga matches. Speaking of making the pain stop, Werder Bremen did just that for their fans as they got their first Bundesliga win in 204 days. How did they do it? Well, they beat a little team called Hannover 96 4-0, thanks to Max Kruse, who scored a hat-trick. Getting a little hot in here under the lights. Bayern Munich also won 3-0 against FC Augsburg, thanks in part to Robert Lewandowski, who has scored in every single one of Bayern's 6 home matches in the Bundesliga this season. Meaning he's the first Bayern player to do that, score in the first 6 home matches, since Gerd Müller in the 1972-73 season. Oh, and this was Jupp Heynck's 500th Bundesliga win, his 326th as a manager, coupled with his 174 as a player. They look a completely different squad under him, and they sit 6 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga table. Alright, let's blaze through the Prem, as there were some shocks, like the North London derby, but should we really be shocked that Arsenal won this one? Yes, based on the overall trend of each team's form, perhaps the edge would be with Tottenham. But then again, as Arsene Wenger says, Arsenal has been dominating Tottenham for the last 20 years. Tottenham fans can always feel optimistic when they have Harry Kane in their team, however, as going into this match, he had scored 6 goals in 5 Premier League meetings against Arsenal. Too bad he scored 0 from 5 shots in this match. Arsenal, however, have made the Emirates a fortress, winning their last 11 Premier League matches in a row at home. That's their longest home winning stretch since they moved to their new-ish stadium. Though their form at home is dominant, they weren't such against Tottenham. Well, not quite at least. In a fairly even match, Arsenal scored with their first 2 shots on target. And I don't want to get you Gunners fans too excited, but in every single season that Arsenal has beaten Tottenham at home, they finished no lower than 4th place on the table. Speaking of 4th, that's where Tottenham is at the moment, thanks in part to Chelsea and their 4-0 demolition of West Brom at the Hawthorns. This was Il Barba, meaning beard in Italian for the uninitiated, aka Antonio Conte's 50th Premier League match at the helm of Chelsea, and I guess Premier League match in general. And as of now, he has still won more points than any other team or manager, it goes without saying, since he took the helm at the beginning of last season. Oh, and with West Brom free-falling at the moment and averaging less than 1 goal per game under Tony Pulis, you gotta wonder how long the board will put up with Pulis and how long the fans will put up with him. Speaking as a neutral, I can say that I do everything I can to not watch West Brom play because I find it absolutely dreadfully torturous to watch them play. So to be a fan and to be subjected to that kind of play for so long, and now you're not even getting the results from it. I don't know how long Pulis will last if they don't start finding some wins soon. But anyways, Alvaro Morata took his goal contribution up to 12 with 8 goals and 4 assists, adding 1 of each on the day. That's the most that any Chelsea player has contributed in their first 11 Premier League appearances. Man of the match Eden Hazard scored a brace, taking his tally to 3 goals and an assist so far this season. Mo Salah may not have been the man of the match on this occasion, but he's certainly been the player of the season so far for Liverpool. After scoring a brace against the bland-as-you-like Saints this weekend, he took his Premier League goals tally to 9 in 11 appearances, breaking Robbie Fowler's former Liverpool record of 8 in 11 appearances. Now, I've spent too much time fawning over Manchester City with the rest of us neutrals out here because they're just so enjoyable to watch. The complete opposite of watching West Brom, to be honest. Manchester City, by the way, they remain unbeaten with 11 wins and 1 draw. I won't get too into it, but I do have to give props to my man, Kevin De Bruyne, who has now taken his Premier League goal involvement to 50 goals. Which, by the way, his goal was a fucking stonker. And he got to that 50 goal mark faster than any other player in the Premier League history, as it took him just 76 appearances to make that mark. But to the other side of Manchester, where I want to start off by giving a quick props to Newcastle United, as they were the first team to score against Manchester United from open play at Old Trafford since New Year's Eve of 2016, almost a year ago. That's 21 hours and 37 minutes of football at Old Trafford in the Premier League with no goals scored by the opposite team from open play. That is impressive, and say what you will about Jose Mourinho and his oftentimes boring style of play, it's pretty effective, at least defensively. But anyways, too bad for Newcastle, they ended up getting smushed as Paul Pogba returned to Manchester and the starting 11 and marked the occasion with a goal and an assist, meaning he's had a hand in 7 goals in his last 6 Premier League appearances. His French Connection teammate, Martial's words, not mine, I promise you, also scored, taking his tally to 5 goals in 11 Premier League appearances, which is 1 more than he managed last season in 25 appearances. Also, United have now won 7 consecutive matches in the Premier League at Old Trafford, which is their longest home winning run since they did 12 consecutive matches back in 2013 under good old Sir Alex Ferguson. Don't you miss Sir Alex Ferguson? And with Zlatan and Pogba back, not to mention Marcos Rojo, who was one of their best players last season, United could yet make things tricky for City at the top, because you know that City's going to slip up at some point. They have to. Can United win the title? I don't think so. I didn't think so in my beginning of the season predictions, and I still don't think so now. I think that it's still City's to lose. But United could make things interesting if they start playing with a little more balls, basically, in the big away matches against the top opposition. You know, playing for more than just a point. Before ditching the Prem, I gotta give love to Callum Wilson, who became the first Englishman to score a hat-trick in the Prem this season, and to Davy Moyes for becoming just the 4th manager in Premier League history to oversee 500 matches. Keeping company with Sir Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, and Harry Redknapp. Moyes is definitely the least successful of those 3 though. Well, of the 4. I guess you would have to say technically. Whatever. Let's go. All right, La Liga. And before I start talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, Real Madrid and their boring-ish draw with Atletico Madrid, Ronaldo lovers, keep this in mind because I know you're going to be jumping all over me. I do not hate Ronaldo. I love that he's Portuguese, just as my family and all of the Portuguese people around the world appreciate that he's Portuguese and has done great things for football and for the country of Portugal. What I say about his stats has nothing to do with his legacy, his quality as a player, or anything like that. And I know you Ronaldo fans are pretty vicious, so just keep that in mind, please. These are just stats that I found interesting, and I think you might as well. And we can appreciate these stats without saying that Ronaldo is now a terrible player, because we all know that he's not a terrible player. All right? End of disclaimer. Ronaldo is one of only 6 of the 267 players in La Liga who have played over 100 minutes of football this season and not completed a single tackle or interception. He has had 55 shots in the league and has only scored once, 27 shots ago. He was, however, slightly unlucky in this match considering the potentially game-saving block from Lucas Hernandez in the dying minutes, and the fact that he was facing one of Europe's hottest goalkeepers at the moment, Jan Oblak. Oblak has only conceded in 5 of his 14 appearances this season. That's 9 clean sheets already. So with their failure to win, Real now sits 10 points behind the leaders Barcelona, and it's really bringing to light how much Real has relied on Cristiano scoring in the past few seasons. I mean, Paulinho, a signing that I didn't find very interesting at all for Barcelona, has already scored 4 goals. BBC, or Benzema, Bale, and Cristiano, have also only scored 4 goals combined. Speaking of goal-scoring droughts, Luis Suarez scored, finally, and he made it a double, scoring a brace against Leganés this weekend, which was his first goals in all competitions since October 14th, and his first brace since April 29th of this year. My favorite part of this match, though, was definitely Amrabat's very interesting little remix on the kickoff. Valencia! Oh, am I the only one that loves that they are doing well again? I can't be the only one. I know you Valencia lovers, or at least La Liga competition lovers out there, will be enjoying that as well. Because it was getting so stale in La Liga with just Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico Madrid just trading places at the end of each season. So thank you to Valencia for stepping up, and I hope that you continue to have success. Because this league needs another power right now. They won their 8th La Liga match in a row and their 9th in a row in all competitions, and they remain undefeated in La Liga alongside Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. So Big up the Orange Boys. In Italy, Milan continued to struggle as they lost 2-1 to Napoli. Milan hasn't won a single match against the top 6 teams in the Serie A, as they have played them all now. They've scored only 4 goals and conceded 15. It was always going to be a process to bring Milan back to their vintage best. For all you guys who hate when I do a little kissy thing, that one was for you. But I gotta be honest, I thought that they would be at least in 5th or 6th by now. You know? I guess they're not too far off, but still. I mean, it's pretty bad when in the first half Milan didn't even have a single touch inside of Napoli's box. And just a FYI, Peter Zielinski's goal against Milan was the 100th that Gianluigi Donnarumma has conceded in his 92 appearances for the club, which isn't even that bad for an 18-year-old kid, am I right? The Rome derby saw AS Roma come out on top thanks to goals from Perotti and Nainggolan, as they won 2-1 against Lazio. Lazio's goal was scored by who? I don't even need to say it, do I? Y'all know it's Ciro. And that was the 5th victory for Roma in the last 6 Rome derbies. That's pretty dominant. Sampdoria, ooh baby, Sampdoria, or Swampdoria as someone likes to call them. This match was the definition of a game of 2 halves, as in the first one, Sampdoria only had 1 attempt on goal. And in the second, they scored 3. And Juve scored 2. A 5-goal blitz in the second half, man. People who pay money to watch that match must be happy. This was also the first match in the Serie A this season that Juve didn't lead at any point. And the other big boy in the league, Inter, my Inter. Well, Mr. Managiano's Inter. I'm a Benfica supporter. You already know that. They won 2-0 against Atalanta to stay right on the heels of Napoli, as they have 33 points to Napoli's 35. Mauro Icardi scored a brace of headers, taking his total to 13 and 13 this season. And by the way, Inter has scored 10 goals from crosses this season, which is more than any other Serie A team. So all you guys saying that I cross too much in FIFA 18, give me a break. I'm just trying to make my art imitate life, you know? And finally, France. Let's just do a quick little run through of France so everyone can know how much PSG won by this time. I'm joking. France has actually been kind of fun to watch this season because it seems more competitive. However, I hope you didn't watch it this weekend because it was one of the most boring weekends of football where there was 6 draws. I'm talking 0-0s and 1-1s for the most part, out of the 10 matches that occurred. However, PSG were the only team in the top 10 teams to actually get a win. Cavani grabbed a brace, taking his goal haul to 15 in just 13 matches on the season, making him the first player to ever score that many goals, 15, in the first 13 matches of the Liga season. The last player to come close was Dick Van Dijk in the 1972-73 season. I guess that was a good year for scorers. Talking about Gerd Muller before. But Dick Van Dijk did it for Nice when he scored 14 goals in 13 matches. One of the 6 draws on this match day was between Bordeaux and Marseille, and in fact in their last 4 meetings, they've either ended 1-1 or 0-0. Let's take it a step further. Bordeaux also set a record this weekend for the longest undefeated run against a particular team, aka against Marseille, as they haven't lost to them once in their last 33 Ligue matches. That is pretty damn impressive. And that, my friends, will just about do it for this Rabona TV Weekender. I hope that you enjoyed yourself, and if you did, hey, maybe drop a like and a subscribe just to throw us a bone. My name is Adrian, this is Rabona TV, and I will see you hopefully in the next video. Ciao.